I should also say in the bill, if you read the bill, it also says they're trying to ban karma. That's how it's written. It's got the word in it, karma. So I don't think they'll succeed at that one. So how's that ban on karma working for you? You know, not so well. Try to escape your karma. So these are the rhetorical tricks, you know, of politicians manufacturing falsehoods that are made to masquerade as the truth in order to get cheap votes. These are the cheapest votes available. As for Islamophobia itself, I've sometimes asked myself if we're spelling it right this time. You know, maybe we should be spelling it Obamaphobia, you know, because they rhyme, and because concerning this recent escalation of attacks against Islam and the concept of Islam and against Muslims as well, I think this is primarily about a presidential election. That's really what's going on here. I think it's people looking for issues, fishing, trying to see if there can't be something done with this one. And I have to say, you know, given what Americans are shown about Islam and Muslims on the newscasting portion of our television and media, it's a wonder that every American who isn't a Muslim doesn't think Islam is some sort of third-rate religion of people who want to conquer America the first chance they can get. You know, I mean, there's a kind of drumbeat of at least misunderstanding here that continues to this day. So, you know, without prescribing prescriptions, I'm not a social engineer, I'm not a politician, thank God, and I don't really know, you know, what are the great solutions any more than any of you do. We just kind of try to talk it out and figure something that would be a good response. I love the quote of the Imam from the Quran tonight. I thought, in a way, that pretty well summed up everything, didn't it? You know, try to show them a little something better than they're showing you. So, on that note, if we could demonstrate proactively, not that we don't already know it ourselves, that Muslims are not some sort of fifth column in modern society, to let people understand more clearly, perhaps, that Muslim values are human values, that the values of Tahrir Square resonate with the values of this country. Freedom of speech, representative government, protecting the rights of other religions, treating religion as a personal choice, not a political position, things like that. And secondly, I would say don't get defensive. You know, don't even respond if you can help it, because you're already on the defensive as you respond. It's built into the question. There's a defensive position you're put into. The framing of the question ensures that you're going to have to fight kind of uphill to make your point. So maybe instead of arguing back self-defensively, we should concentrate on activating our own base in this big society that we all live in here together. Would be at least a notion. Coming up with strategies for that is just as difficult as coming up with strategies for anything, but to appeal to mainstream Americans who have good relationships with Muslims already, to form alliances, to develop allies, not just for the election cycle, but ongoing. To let others speak for how authentic you are. You know, a really authentic person doesn't need to stand up and say, I'm authentic. It doesn't really make sense if you think about it. So in this situation where we find ourselves, and where we have found ourselves for years, I still believe dialogue is the best cure for this disease. I personally do it through showing films and bringing people together to talk. There are dozens of ways to accomplish dialogue. And the worse things get, the more valuable dialogue becomes. But the word dialogue reminds me of something that Tariq Ramadan said last week at Stanford when he spoke there. He said, He said, when let's have a dialogue means listen to me, then you don't have a dialogue anymore. When let's have a dialogue means listen to me, you don't have a dialogue anymore. You have what he called an interactive monologue. Yeah? And that's worthless. It just makes you feel better for a little while. So a dialogue takes real respect. You know, it takes being ready to get outside your comfort zone. It means that you don't stand on your best principles and judge another community's worst examples. It's easy for any of us to do that. Muslims can do it with any religion in the world. They can do it in any country they live in. And likewise, any religion can do it to Muslims or any country they live in. That doesn't really work, judging from the top, you know, of your group's performance down. It goes nowhere. We need to talk on common ground. Common ground is the basis of dialogue. It means talking across, talking through, and talking down. So talking from the edges of the differences that we all have is guaranteed not to go very far because it's only skin deep. It doesn't start from anywhere. The real common ground we all share are the base notes of existence. That's what we all have in common. You know? Our mortality, our fragility, these complex identities that we all have. Our flawed natures, all of our flawed natures, you know, that demand forgiveness, demand compassion, demand understanding on our part and on other people's parts. These are the things that, this is where you're alive, you know. This is where you can share at a deeper level with people who are apparently not like you, to find that common ground where then you can talk about other things, like differences. You start out talking about differences, you're dead in the water. It's not a conversation. Show me what you love and show me how you suffer, and I'll show you who you are. So again, the best allegiance, the best solidarity is with our principles. You have to be ready to oppose oppression in your own community, not just in somebody else's. You have to be ready to go beyond the threat to your own comfort. We have to be vigilant against people in our own house who seem to be like us, but actually they represent some force of chaos. That's our job. That's everybody's job who has a backyard, you know? Everybody has to be working on their backyard all the time. We do too. So, I try to counsel Muslims in times like this to remember the story of Hamza, who, coming home from another hard day of hunting, passed through the town square where he saw a person being humiliated for his beliefs. And Hamza, a respectable member of his community, did an extraordinary thing. He joined the person being humiliated. Muslims need to find the Hamzas in American society. This should be the year of the Hamzas, you know? We should be looking for them. We should be looking for people who understand that if a Muslim's religious and civil rights are compromised, then as an American, so are that person's rights and religion. Anybody who's threatened in a democracy with civil rights or religious rights is a threat. That same threat can be applied to anybody in the society. That's what holds this country together. That's what Ben Franklin said 250 years ago. We'll either hang together or we'll hang separately. It continues to be the case today. If we don't agree on that, it's going to be hard to agree on anything. So we need to find, and many people do, so we need to find those people. What we expect from ourselves, we have to extend to others. We have to find allies. Then like the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in the square when Hamza came by. We have to show an unshakable example in adverse times. That's what people respect. So, I tried to think about this last night and not say anything stupid. So, thank you very much. This is a very difficult topic, and I'm glad that we have lots of help here tonight to make sense of this. So,